I'm going to start the recording now. Welcome everybody to our wellness application class with Jade Baldwin. Tonight we're going to talk about connected and focused kids. So specifically talking about children, but these sort of things can apply to everybody. And Jade will explain a little bit more about the topic and take it away.
Thank you. I'm really excited about this topic, everyone. So when I started teaching at this one particular school in Australia, there was like one class that was for kids that have special needs. And 5 years after, when I retired, there was five classes, right? And, what do you think about that?
Special needs classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of increase.
How did it grow that fast? That's sad. That's really sad. So the whole, we can't blame it on genetics because they're all different ethnic groups and everything. So it's actually environmental. And it's something's happening to our children in the world today. And now if I say, think of a child that has some sort of a disconnective concern, you can actually name them. Quite a few. In the past, it's just rare. Once in a while, you meet somebody that might have a child like that, but now it's just all over the place. So we have 4 beautiful girls, and people tell us they're so well behaved, and I think they're ordinary kids, but I guess compared to some of these other kids now, they look quite extraordinary because they can sit still and they can behave. So I feel like there's a great need out there for people to learn just simple skills of how to take care of these children in a natural way, without having to drug them up. Okay, so that's what I would like to do. Just try it first, try the natural way and see how that works. And then you could, go to the other extremes, but just start here first. So I'll share with you an experience. So when I was still in Australia, I had a phone call, and the sister said her one sister's coming into town, and before she leaves, she wants me to see her and her son. And so she came, and the very next day, and the kid, I couldn't even bring them into the office because he was already running around my whole house. And so I said, okay, just sit here on the couch in the living room and chat. So the mum was there, but the kid had just run around and he just made noises and he's bouncing. And the mum said, look, he hasn't been on his medication for the last 3 years. Over 3 days, I just want you to see how he really is. And I thought, okay, that's fine. And I was trying to talk to him and he wouldn't look at me. And he had my big bouncy ball, the exercise ball, and he was like banging it and banging it. I couldn't even say anything. He wasn't listening very well. So I said to the mum, we're going to do a few things. We're just going to put these oils on him. So I've listed some of the oils here and I'll tell you about it. But we put about 3 oils on him. I said, can you put these on his big toes, put this on his ears, and just have it across his forehead, have him smell it. So the mum was trying to kind of grab him and put oils on him. And about 20 minutes later, he was able to slow down a little bit. And I said, come on over here and let's just have a chat. And so he sat down on the couch and I had a bean bag. And so I tossed it to him and I said, catch it with your right hand. And then he caught it and I said, catch it with your left hand. And he caught it. And so back and forth. And I asked him questions as we were moving like that, back and forth. And the mum just watched this. And she, it was about half an hour now since they've arrived. And she started crying. She was bawling. And she said, this is not my son. And I said, no, this is your son. Welcome, this is who he really is, right? And she just couldn't stop crying because she said, this is so different. He only sits still if he's medicated. And I said, if he's medicated, his whole brain is sedated, right? he's not in there, right? And so there needs to be a way where he can be himself and still have the assistance to help his left brain and right brain communicate with each other. Now, especially boys, the bridge in the middle, they call it the corpus callosum. I think I'm saying it right. Mom, am I saying it right? Debbie? It's just the name of the bridge. But the bridge across the left and the right brain is more narrow than in girls. So when we say that, men, they don't multitask as well, it's because that bridge is more narrow, and so only a few things can cross it at the time. And so, the girls, they have a wider bridge, so that means more traffic can go through. What's happening is there's a lot of toxins in the environment that they're receiving from medications and other things that are causing a lot of traffic jam. That's what I would like to describe it as. So the left and the right brain, they're trying to communicate and cross that bridge, and there's not enough room anymore because there's so much in the way. And so the brains are not communicating well, and it's delaying the full development of the child. Okay, so there's a few things that we can do for them. But anyways, this little boy, that's why I had him catch with left, catch with right, catch with left, catch with right, and he had to kind of cross his body when he does that. So I told the mum what to do, and I'll tell you what I said in a minute. So anyways, they left my home about an hour later. So the whole visit was about an hour, a bit over an hour, and they went down the street to the local cafe to get lunch. And the mum thought, you know what, he's calm, he's still, so let's go and see if we can catch a bite. And they sat there, and the boy, he started reading the menu, and he turned to the auntie and he talked to the auntie, and he was looking at the auntie in the eyes, and they were just shocked. So they texted me a big long text. We are at the cafe, he's sitting still, he's talking to us, and he's reading. The teachers have said that he can only read 10 words, and he's 8, but she said he is reading words that she didn't know he knew. So she's shocked. Anyways, that was Friday, and so they drove home to their home state in South Australia. And so Monday, the mum texted me, and she said this morning, so she did all the oils, of course. She said this whole weekend he was fantastic, and the grandma was just amazed. But that Monday morning, the boy, he got up and he got himself dressed, and he got ready, and they left the house before 8:30. And she said that was amazing. Just everything, that whole weekend, he was able to do things. And so, for me, I thought that's just so exciting to see that change. And if we can keep doing that, we'll keep clearing out the debris, the toxins inside his body, and he will be able to produce the happy chemicals, make more connections in his brains, and, in their brains, every day. So for them, I asked them if they could get the school involved, and, because they had him on, a 5 dosage routine. So he was given some drugs in the morning, given some drugs when he first got to school, and just, so many times a day. Anyways, it was, fantastic. And she was talking to the school, and the school said she could come in and help and put oils on him too. So that was the story. So what do you think? Any questions, any comments so far?
I'm sure my boys would have liked to have that when they were younger because they didn't like medication.
Yeah, but it just stops them from being themselves as well. So that's, stopping their spirit from coming out and being who they really are. So what's happening is the brain, different, it's not just the left and the right brain, it's just not one brain or the other. So a lot of these kids actually are born with a more developed brain, and then, you know, a brain that's their age. So, you know, when you have a brain that's more developed or something, sometimes it doesn't communicate very well because this brain is just so far ahead. And different parts of the brains, it's not just the one area. So sometimes we don't know which part. And what happens in school is they give the kids work that the kids enjoy. So if this kid's really good at math, we'll just give him lots of math. But it's sort of like strengthening a muscle that's already strong. And so there's other weak muscles that really need strengthening, but they don't know how to get there. And most of the time, if we give them a drug, it says, let's, you know, sedate the whole head, whole mind, whole brain, or let's stimulate the whole brain. So it's sort of like a symphony. I tell people, you know, imagine a symphony and then somebody's playing wrong. Somebody's just not playing the right notes. And so we don't say, okay, forget it. Let's all play louder. You know, it doesn't fix that problem. That person is still playing the wrong note. See? Or you can say, well, okay, somebody's playing wrong, but let's just play softly. Let's everyone just play really, really softly. You didn't fix the problem as well because that person's still playing the wrong note. So what we need to do is just say, hey, can we just clean up here and just help people communicate properly so that we all are playing on the right, you know, the right note at the right time. So that's the idea. That's what we want, you know, in these children. Okay, so we want to start here. Let's scroll down and I'll scroll up. Alrighty. So this is the brain dance. Okay, so I will start here. This is the book Disconnected Kids by Dr. Robert Melillo. He has brain balance centers all over the US. People pay a lot of money to go here and do some of the brain activities and tests that he gives. But basically, his approach is a holistic approach. And there are kids that have like labels like autism that end up being very advanced at the end. And so they no longer have that label, and they're actually a grade or two above their peers. So when he's done working with them, you know, he puts them on very clean diet and he makes them do a lot of brain exercises, and he strengthens the weak side of them, whichever bits of it that they discover. But in general, what I want to give people is just a simple thing to do without having to get it really complicated. So that's why we produce this here. The idea is to clean the kid out and help them, you know, start making connections again. When we physically move, we actually help with the mental connections and pathways. So first of all, Nourish. So we feed the brains with omega oils.
So you're going to go through the brain balance steps?
We will in a second. Yep. So, yeah, this is one of the basics. So we'll do Nourish. We're going to have to mute.
Sorry.
Okay. So Nourish the brains. We have beautiful omega blend in doTERRA that we could give the children. It tastes like orange and it smells like orange, so it doesn't have that fishy smell. And it's also nano size, so that means we could absorb it more. The brain is mostly fat, so if you think about it, you're just helping grease up the brains. Okay, so that's very important to have. So give them the omega oils. Okay, that'll really help. And then we start giving them very clean food, so lots of good nutritional food and supplements. In doTERRA, they have those chewable A to Z supplements that are really good. Now they're watermelon flavor. If you want to, you can put them in smoothies and, you know, mash them up and mix them in that. Okay, so these kids actually, we'll go up again and I'll show you the brain dance. So you have 2 oils that are very, very important to use, and that is the In Tune and Balance. So I would use both of those oils. I use one and layer the next one on. For me, it doesn't really matter which one goes first because you're going to be putting them on. So the In Tune and the Balance Oil. So I would put it across the forehead. So that's our Maddie there. She volunteered as a model. On the ears and the back of the neck and the big toes. Okay, we tell our kids to do this themselves, but if the kids are younger, they don't know how to do it, you can do it for them in the morning. It doesn't take very long, but across the forehead, on the ears, back of the neck, and big toes. Okay, so that's the 2 oils. Any questions about that? No? All good? Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. And then if they can, they do the brain dance. And so you touch ears in ears. And like Beck was saying, some of the kids that can't, because they don't have a very good map of their outsides. So when they're a little bit younger, when you ask them to point to their nose, they don't know exactly where it is, right? Or that you point to certain areas, they have a hard time locating certain things because the map on the outside of their mind is very difficult for them to connect with. So anyways, these kids, sometimes when they'll start with, your right knee to right elbow. But you really want to teach them to cross over and get the the electromagnetics pulsing, to cross the center of the body. So ears, knees, and then toes, and they'll stand still and then they'll cross their body. There's a little video on there. So in the middle, and they'll cross their body, cross the middle of their body. So I've had some naughty kids in my class. That's what we call the kids, and they don't pay attention, right? But they don't mean to be. And when I have students that are not listening and they're not learning, I just get the whole class to all stand up, and then I get a big Indian drum and I start drumming. And I say, okay, brain dance time, and everyone gets out of their seat and they all giggle. And I'll call out ears, knees, and toes, and they'll just do their brain dance. And I watch the kids that have a hard time concentrating and focusing. Those are the kids that have the hardest time, locating left and right and arms and ears and, fingers that just have such a hard time. And so we just teach them until they really make that connection. And I've seen, a lot of behavior changes in those children. And just doing something so simple like that. There's no point teaching them anything if right now things are not connecting, because when we are learning, we file things in our brains in different buckets, and we make connections in our brains so that we can recall them later. But these children, they're not allowing it to go into any buckets. They're not organizing in their heads. So we just have to stop, and then we need to help them with that. Okay, so it's not difficult, but if we teach the parents and teach the teachers to do this, I feel like it's going to be a really easy but powerful thing to do. All right, any questions so far? Any comments? All good? Oops, let's unmute you. Yep.
I just had Ethan has a learning coach, and I had a meeting with her today, and she was saying that he's homeschooled right now, but when he takes tests, he'll be given extra time or anything, or if he needs to take a break to refocus, he can leave the room. And she said, like, just leaving, and because when you're working on a problem and you just can't get it, she said sometimes if you just take a break, walk away, and come back, he'll be able to do it. But I was thinking, well, if he did this, would it help him to recall things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and learning is a skill. Learning is a skill because you have to connect it back to somewhere or something that you already know. So That's why when I ask questions, people have to kind of think about it and then kind of turn it around and make it make sense in their minds. Yeah. So
and going back to the basics, sometimes the kids, it's not their fault that they're unconnected. They may have some problems in their guts, or they may have some toxins that are built up. So try to get them to detox and feed their brains and feed their cells. That also works to help kids get refocused.
So I noticed that I taught special ed too. I noticed that some of the kids that are not behaving well, they don't have a good diet. There was one girl in my class, one of the classes I taught, she had diarrhea for 3 months, and her mum sent her to school with a chocolate bar and a pack of chips. And, she called me one lunch, and I was thinking, great, I really needed to talk to her anyways. And I told her, I said, look, I think she needs to eat better. If you can pack fruits and things. And the mum says, well, that's all we have at home. And, I thought, oh, so sad, because none of that food has any nourishment. And so a lot of her symptoms are just nutritional deficiency symptoms. And, it's not normal to have diarrhea for 3 months. And this kid, she can't concentrate, and it's just very disruptive to her learning. So I just tell people, the first rule is to make sure these kids get enough nourishment so that we can rule out all of the nutritional deficiency symptoms. Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of times these kids, because they can't make connections, and it's difficult, and they have anxiety and a lot of stress. So of course that will manifest in the gut, and they'll have a lot of just food sensitivities, and they'll be picky in some ways. So I would use a lot of oils for the gut. So which oils do you think I would use for the gut?
Digestion.
Yep, digestion. Yep. Fennel. Lemon, yeah. All of those oils I'll have, in their water bottle, lemon oil. I would put the digestion in the middle of the bottom of their feet in the morning and at night time, just to help things flow, soften the stool.
Or simply lemon in their water.
Yep, like I said, lemon in their water. Just anything to help with their gut. And you'll notice that their breath smells better, that the neurotransmitters in their gut, if it can be taken care of, their brains will think clearly. Even adults, when we have gut problems, a lot of our brain chemicals in our gut, it's compromised. So we have what we call brain fog, right? And so, those adults, we just have to tell them, clean out your gut, just poop more. So lemon oil, all of the wonderful oils for the tummy. Cardamom is good too. Grapefruit, all of those good oils for the tummy. So you can switch it up, but make sure you're focusing on the gut, because there are a lot of brain chemicals are here. So if you want the kids to be thinking and making connections and remembering, take care of the gut too. Okay, but before the gut, there's what caused it in the first place is some of the anxiety. So we want to give them oils like marjoram, cedarwood, and lavender to help them feel calm. Yep. Okay, and balance and in tune, of course, that's the basic oils for them nearly every day. Okay, so taking care of the gut, there's another way there's more things that we can do just to cleanse with nutrition. And we have the essential oils here, so I've suggested lemon there. And, PBS, healthy bacteria for the gut would be really good. Some of these kids will have a lot of skin problems. And one dad come up to me, because I was teaching the special ed class, he came up to me, he's like, what do I do? What do I do? Because he's just, his whole face was all itchy and the skin was all scaly and flaky, and just he kept licking his face because it was itchy. But if only I can tell him everything. Yeah. Alrighty. So any questions on that? Easy? If the kids can take the PBS, that's a good one. because the probiotics in there is released in the gut, and it doesn't have to die in the stomach acid. So those are very good. I've had a boy that he had lots of skin problems and for years and years, and I said to the mum, just let's start with the gut and just give him some probiotics to start with. And yeah, she was like amazed how his skin cleared up. Anyways, we need to detox the brain next. So I'll tell you what to do here. That's our next week's class, but it's cilantro oil, okay? You can actually use other oils too, but cilantro and clove has been one of the best oils I know. So my friend in Australia, she goes to church with me, and I suggested that she do this for her son. He was only 5, but she was worried that he had to have special classes and things now. And what happened was she used cilantro and clove on the bottom of his feet for 8 months. And she came up to me at church and one day, and she said, Jade, he's been re-diagnosed. That was really powerful. He no longer has what the doctor labeled him to have. And so he's able to focus, he's able to talk now, and that's powerful. Okay. So it took him 8 months, and I did not know that it could be that soon. But you know, that's amazing. Okay. All right. The other thing is, also now before I go on, any questions? Any comments?
Does anybody have any experiences with children that have these difficulties?
No? Alrighty. You just need to be consistent with this. It's something so simple. Because it's simple to do, it's simple not to do. Okay?
You know, I don't think we mentioned above with nutrition and stuff, but there are certain foods you might want to reduce in your child's diet. A lot of foods out there are just packed with processed foods, or they have sugar in them. Remember, we got rid of sugar in our house, which is a difficult thing to do. You have to read a lot of labels. You know, most of the ketchup on the shelf will have sugar in it, but there's like 1 or 2 that don't. So you have to find out which ones there are. All sorts of things, pickles, whatever you do. But I remember we babysat for someone, and they brought their kids over, and we were watching their kids, and they're like, my kids are so rowdy and everything like that. And they brought some food with their kids. I don't know if you've ever babysat. Sometimes parents send foods with their kids, and it was sugar. It was like fruit roll-ups. It was like high fructose corn syrup in a belt.
Yeah. So the fruit snacks. There's no fruits in fruit snacks. Okay.
It's corn. It's another way to sell corn. So, anyways, of course, we didn't give them the sugar, and they totally different kids.
They were behaved.
Well behaved. And so sometimes kids are acting up, and they really can't help it. They've got a diet problem. They've got, toxins in their body. They've got these other things that are not necessarily their fault. And so, but yeah, here Jade covers it right here in improving their
drink fluoride-free water.
Their diet and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can.
Fluoride's a brain poison.
Get your kids, all the healthy tools that they need to, excel.
So, we have to reduce toxins in lots of ways. You have your hand sanitizers and other antibacterial agents. They're just poison, okay? So just be careful there. The triclosan, Bactroban, all of those is just a registered rat poison. So They're very harmful to our bodies, but you know, for these kids, they already have a lot of toxins and we're just adding more to it. And so I don't know, I just feel bad. So you know, sometimes we look at a health problem and we think, okay, what's the one thing to fix it? What's the one cause? There's so many different causes that it's multi-causal. So we need to take a holistic approach to remedy it. Okay. So we're up to detoxing the brains, and I said, you know, clove and cilantro on the big toes. So that would be really, really good to do that consistently for as long as you need to. It's really good, safe oils, great for their immunity anyways. So you can mix it up and roll it on their big toes morning and night. I mean, you have your other oils too, but then you can do these. So
Clove's a good one to also boost your immunity.
Yeah. But you know, I've seen it do magic, really. So you know, a little kid that's diagnosed and labeled, and now he doesn't have that label anymore. That's really amazing. Okay. Now we have managing mood and emotion. If these children can be more calm and relaxed, they will have less of the tenseness that cause a lot of the gut problems. So you already know a lot of the oils for calming, but doTERRA now has the aromatherapy oils. But, you know, I would give the kids a choice. I would say, here are some of the oils. Which oils do you like? So they will choose and they will tell you which oils they need. That's really good. Most of the kids are very intuitive. I met a lot of kids that I was muscle testing. One boy, his name is Jackson, so gorgeous, 9-year-old boy. And the mum said, you know, we're working with him. And I said, oh, this one emotion. And I said, Jackson, pick. And he picked one, and I opened the book, and the mum was like, whoa, how did he know that? And that emotion was in that page. And so we did that 4 times in a row. And the mum was just blown away. I said, look at how intuitive children are. And so you just give it to them, let them pick. You know, so my twins, you know, one day they said, hey, Genevieve, one of the twins, the youngest, they said, oh, I feel like fennel today. Can I have fennel? And I was just looking at, you know, the older kids. I'm thinking, yes, fennel, the oil of responsibility. Yay, clean up your room. So it was awesome because they feel it and they use it anyways. So we want to help these children feel like they have control, and so that they don't have any of these tantrums and you know, emotional outbursts that they don't enjoy. We don't enjoy either. So yeah, managing emotions with that, very, very safe, and we don't need to drug them up for that. A lot of the times the adults, because they can't deal with it anymore, they have the kids take the drugs for the adults' sake. Okay, so any questions, comments?
Cilantro mixture, if I were to go ahead and do that in a roller ball, how much would you add of each of the oils to a 10 ml?
Okay, it depends on the child. So if it's, say, a 5-year-old, I'll do about a quarter of that is in oil. So, you know, half of that quarter will be an eighth of one oil, and then an eighth of another, and then fill up the rest with fractionated coconut oil.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter had a earring that was, you know, like $200 gold earring, I thought, but it had some other alloys and alloys, and she had heavy metal toxicity in her system from that, and it took us 2 weeks only. But these kids that, you know, if you test them, they have very high level of mercury, high level of aluminium and things in their system. So it might take a little longer. Like my friend, it took her 8 months. But it's amazing what's happened to her son. You know. So good question. Alrighty, so the next thing we want to do is to understand some of the really good oils for these children. Okay. So we have the grounding blend. Okay, grounding blend
Balance.
is balance. It just helps their brain focus on one thing, because sometimes there's so much out there that's stimulating them, and it tires them, and then they get overstimulated, and then they misbehave because they don't know what to do with themselves. So grounding blend is a wonderful oil to go in the diffuser. If they have a necklace diffuser, you can buy one for boys, one for girls. Grounding blend should be in that, just to help them focus and keep it all together, not be so stimulated by sound, by light, by things around them. So that's a really good one. Wild orange, it depends on the child, but wild orange is really good for the stress and the anxiety. It's uplifting, and it helps them with creativity. Okay, lemon oil too. I would use lemon oil internally, in water. Great for the gut. Okay, it helps with focus because it helps with the neurotransmitters in the gut. Yep. The focus blend is the in tune, and focus blend again goes with the grounding blend. But focus here, it's interesting because it encourages learning. It helps the kids learn for some reason. It helps with the brain cells, and it helps make connections because it has patchouli in it, I believe. Yeah, and patchouli does that. Okay. Vetiver. Vetiver is very grounding.
It smells like dirt.
It smells like dirt. And sometimes these children, they're trapped in their own heads. And, you just want them to come down, get that energy to balance and be in their bodies. And, because their bodies will tell them, you're hungry, or you're thirsty, or they can control their body. So that's what vetiver helps them do.
I think also vetiver, it does smell like roots and dirt and everything. Sometimes the kids live in this almost holy synthetic world, and they don't ever touch nature. Mm-hmm. They're touching trees or putting their feet on dirt or in the grass or anything.
Yeah.
So vetiver is, a little bit on their foot helps them get that grounded, get that nature.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If they could get out and go out and touch nature, put their feet into soil, some of that pent-up energy can release in the soil and the ground. Because, if you think about it, you would be frustrated too if you have thoughts and ideas that you can't, verbalize, and you can't communicate. It gets very agitating for you. I was in Japan when I went to high school, and there was an article there that I was reading that all these Japanese kids, they can go to school and they could go home and they can live in a building and never touch the ground for months and months and months, because things are just so high tech and technological, and they're in buildings all the time. And so some of these kids, they do very crazy, weird things. It's like, I can't even tell you, but it's not human. It's not human. Okay, so you have your lavender or your serenity. Those are the calming sleep aids. We talked about sleep last week, that these kids really, really need just very good deep sleep, because while you sleep, the brain is organizing, it's cleansing toxins. This is the time that they cleanse. So my friend, I don't know if you heard, but I had that friend, she's a chiropractor, and she was helping this lady, and this lady has a son that only sleeps 2 hours at a time. And he would, bonk his head until it bled, and then he bonked another side until that side bled. And so this kid doesn't ever get enough sleep to rest and repair. So they used sandalwood and frankincense on him, and that's the next few oils there. And it not only helped his head heal, but he stopped bumping his head. And then he started learning how to talk. The first word he said was happy. So that was really amazing. And and his parents were able to sleep, 5-6 hours now. Oh, hello. So that was awesome to hear. So those oils are really, really good. So we talked about cedarwood today earlier. And cedarwood is a wonderful sleep aid. It helps them connect with people. Like I said, sometimes they have a difficult time with connecting to humans, and not only just connecting, cedarwood takes it a step further and it helps them work with people. Okay, so we have marjoram down there, number 10, that helps us connect to other humans and really understand and read people. But cedarwood says, actually, you can connect and work with them, and we can take turns, and we can, build together something. And that's a wonderful thing that cedarwood does. Okay, so we already talked about sandalwood and frankincense. Anyone with questions or comments so far? All good? Okay, and patchouli. Patchouli is very important. So it depends on the child, whatever the concern is for the child, because everyone's going to be different. Everybody will have some sort of different disconnection. But if this child has a hard time feeling hungry, or they're in their head all the time, they like to do math. I remember I taught a boy that, if you give him a stack of math drills, math exercises, that's what he loves. So that's all he does. So he's like agitated by the other kids and noise and everything. If you give him math sheets, he'll stop and he'll just do math all day long, just like that. So he's not in his body. He's in his head the whole time. So if he's hungry, he doesn't know it. So sometimes these kids that, you need to give them patchouli so that their body can start talking to them. The, central nervous system can work properly. And so they can say, hey, you can stop now. You need to go to the bathroom. You need to eat. So for him, we have to say, hey, it's lunchtime. Give me those papers. Eat food, right? So that's what patchouli does. It says, hey, we can focus our energy down here, and we can read our body signals. Okay, any questions or comments about how to use it? You're good with patchouli? Yep. Yep.
Sorry, Jay, just a general question. If we recommended like these 10 oils, we could just make equally up, the cedarwood, the digestion or whatever in one bottle just for them, one go, one time, morning and then the night?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we're trying to do different things. You might, I don't know, because sometimes, just look at the child, because sometimes the children, they can't talk, or sometimes they are okay socially, sometimes they're not. It just depends on what they have, because it varies so much. So kind of assess the situation and then pick the right ones. That's why I separated them, because you have to kind of look at the child and say, this child is like this child's like that. So
they're not necessarily going to need all of them. We just pick what's specific for them, and
I think also, sometimes more is not better. You just put more of this and that other thing. Sometimes they might be overstimulated by one or two of those. That, or they might have so many essential oils that their therapeutic benefit might start going down. You're not going to get the. So it might take more thinking. It's not a pill for every ill. It's just a little bit of practice and trying things out. And intuition can help.
That's why I ask people to ask the children to smell the oils and use it, because then they will know. It's very interesting. So I've taught a variety of kids. There's some kids that they want to be friendly. They really want to be friendly with you, but they can't read you. They can't communicate with you. I had a little boy that's Down syndrome, and he bumped his head on me when he wants to say hi. right? And so I'm letting him bump my tummy. I'm like, yes, I love you too. And he just kept bumping and bumping. And it's just, he's trying to communicate. So for him, I would use some of the oils to help him really communicate and connect, because he's trying to get it out there, what he wants, but he can't. So yeah, so these are the top oils that I would use. A place where you can go to without feeling really overwhelmed by the hundreds of oils that are out there. You just go to these and go, okay, these are the ones that are really good for these kinds of the kids. Alrighty. We want to take a lot of precautions. So we're trying to help them in this area. But remember, like I said, with shampoos, conditioners, and with those things, they have SLS, and those things go into the brains. Okay, that's not healthy, and we're trying to help heal the brains, and we don't want to keep putting toxins in. Just because the shampoo is a little bit cheaper, it's going to cause very expensive problems. So maybe just invest in high quality shampoos and conditioners and prevent the problems from happening in the first place.
And that's what Jay started off saying. It seems like there are a lot more of these kids with these problems these days. A lot more of allergies in the schools and stuff these days. It's because of the environment, because of the toxins, and they're getting those toxins maybe in their fillings and their medications and drugs and shots or whatever. Comes into our lives in so many different ways, and so whatever we can do to reduce that and get back to nature.
Yep. So any questions and comments so far? Does it make sense? So do you feel like this is doable? That's the question. Yeah.
Yes. I have this one question though. Kind of off subject. Am I talking over somebody?
No.
Oh. It's kind of off subject, but I was just wondering how this brain dance would do for, say, like geriatric people who are
Alzheimer's or dementia and Alzheimer's.
Are you talking about your husband?
Well, I was more talking about his mother, but anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
If you could get them to do it, do you think it would help to rouse their cognitive and their remembrance?
Yep. Yeah, I truly believe it. What I believe is happening is because there's so much toxin in our system, we're seeing lots of younger people have dementia and other cognitive problems. Mm-hmm. So you have people in their early 40s suffering from this now.
Right.
The toxic load is so much. In the past, we've stretched it out a little bit longer. So it's not like people are getting old. It's not the old.
Old is getting people.
Old is getting them. Yeah, it's a toxic load problem. So as you cleanse, you'll have more memory, and you shouldn't have to have these problems in the first place, I believe, because a lot of it is environmental. Okay.
Well, but you still do have the aging process.
Yep.
Even if you cleanse yourself frequently, and that you still have the aging process where dementia starts in.
Yeah, well,
I think it can't hurt.
It can't.
It's a good thing to try. I don't know.
But you haven't heard of any studies done this way.
Actually, there are studies for that, and I've read some, but I'm not going to tell people this is how you do it. There's so many older people that have a lot of.
But they could do the same brain. But they could do the same brain dance type thing as children.
Yeah.
Because they don't. A lot of them don't.
Yeah, a lot of Chinese
they
people
used to be active, but they're not.
They do the Tai Chi dances and they do things like that. Amazing. And their immunity is so strong. They've tested those people's immunity and it's better than athletes.
Yeah. That's what okay. That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Tai
Thank
Chi.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a good question. Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Tony.
So there are a few more. Did you get a question?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I added a few fun things like color and lighting. Sometimes the fluorescent light it triggers children. So if you just play with it and try to change the lighting, sometimes that makes a difference. And lighting also is connected to color. So certain colors, when they're too bright, they overstimulate. So if you have them wear calmer colors, it might make a difference in their behavior.
You know, a lot of times when you go to buy your light bulbs, there's two different choices usually. There's the cooler, the natural light, and then there's the warmer, the yellowish light. So our daughter Emily, when we first moved into one of the places that we lived, they had these yellowish light bulbs, and she's like, "This is not good for me," because she's like trying to color and everything and draw and do her art and stuff.
Yeah.
We got white, natural light, which is a lot better for her to function and for her to think. So the color of the light is something to consider when you're...
just even we talk about ordinary kids, right? We color code our kids' clothing and, have them pick the colors. It changes moods.
Ow, ow.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jade.
Thank you.
Does anybody have anything else they want to add to that? Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out. That's all available at on the website there.
And there's a little video.
Yeah, there's a video, and we'll post this video there as well. Your comments are always welcome. If you have any comments, you can leave your comments on there.
Please comment.
Any ideas or experiences you have, great to help other people as well. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to this, and for all those who are watching this after the fact. Thanks for watching it and for being a part. Thank you. I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Start the recording. That would be fun. Thank you.